All right, guys, I am back again. Hello, hello. Welcome to my channel. All right, y'all, let's dive into this really quick. Okay, so let's do a keto update. It's been a while. All right, I'm showing you all of this for a reason. Okay, so I had a conversation. You guys know I had a doctor's appointment. I have another one in October. As soon as I get back from Ocean City, the big OC. Yes, yes. I have a doctor's appointment at 1 o'clock. And I think I'm going to like this new doctor. One of my doctors is retiring and recommended this doctor. So I still have several others. But here's what we need to talk about. In here is my old recipes for a 7-Up pound cake. And what I'm going to do with this keto glazed pound cake. So I'm looking at all of this stuff and I'm thinking I need to make a serious decision because I want to stay in ketosis. I don't want to be knocked out even for one day. You know what I mean? But what about my birthday? What about wanting to have this 7-Up pound cake? Making both of them to cover all of the cover everything. So I've been doing a lot of thinking and I've been having a lot of conversations today. Today has been a very busy, busy day with conversations. But before I get into that, I want to give a shout out. And that shout out is to Miss Lucy. Lucy, thank you for all of your love and support with my channel. I'm glad that I make you laugh. I'm glad I make you happy. I have been told that forever. Like, people always say, you're so funny. You got this crazy sense of humor. And I've been told that I was fresh out of a Sanford episode, right? So, you know what? If I can make people laugh by just being myself, then yay, right? So I'm glad that I've made you happy. I don't see where I'm funny, but if other people do, that's what matters. So thank you for that. So big shout out to you, Lucy. Thank you for supporting my channel. The other thing I wanted to mention to you guys, let's come on over to the table, is Gary is going to do the rug doctor on this carpet for me. And I am so grateful because he's in charge of doing all the heavy duty stuff and I do the lighter stuff. But as you all know, his health has failed considerably. And so it's like a lot of the heavy duty stuff he's not able to do. And we talked about getting cleaning service to come back in, blah, blah, blah. But he is going to use the rug doctor and clean this. As you can see, the two-toned color, that's just traffic. And even though we keep shoes in there, sometimes we forget, and this is traffic. But this is also dirt that spilled when I was potting a plant and I dropped it, and all this black dirt from those pots over there is what I turn that back on, is what caused it. And no rug doctor in heaven or hell could get it out. So bottom line, we need a new rug. But he is going to go ahead and do it and do the hallway. And I'm so grateful. But I feel bad because I know it's going to put him in some kind of pain. I know it is, but we'll see what happens. But I'm finally going to get my carpets cleaned. And I'm not going to pressure him or press him about it, but I will write a little note and say, don't forget. All right, so let me zip this up, unzip this. So we're going to go over my decisions that I have not made yet and see what we're up against. All right, so I got tired of these questions. These were questions from ChatGPT that I could use to help me to stay grounded. And I'm not feeling them anymore. All right, so I'm going to try to keep this short. This is for people who are interested in wellness journey and keto lifestyle and low carb lifestyle, doctor's advice, all the stuff. So if you're not interested, then I can understand. But as you can see, this is what keto has done for me. And I shouldn't have had gotten like that in the first place. That is like the heaviest I had ever been. And, you know, just think, if I had done this before I gained that weight that second time after Manjaro and after the peptides, I would have been at my goal weight by now. But what I gained mentally and spiritually is so priceless that it's like you had to go through certain things to get to where you are now. And I don't want to trade that. I don't, because I've learned so much with the Lord through this journey about finding value in myself outside of what I look like. Because that was the thing when I was younger. It was always about the gym, and it was always about that athletic look or that skinny look, whatever, and I would judge my worth by that. But I wouldn't do other people that way. It was just me being hard on myself because that's what I was taught. So I had the wisdom, the knowledge, and knowledge without wisdom is worthless. So, with all that I have learned and come to understand, it was worth so much more than just walking around with a halfway decent body, but not really getting what I needed to get out of it. So, the last time I weighed myself, I was at day 110 and it was 182. After a full cleanse, I would have to say that I'm still 182, maybe 181 and a half. But yeah. And the scale at the doctor's office, the scale at your home is always going to be a little bit off by a couple of pounds. So I'm just going to put here that I have maintained. Because we are now at what day? We are at, this is, so I changed up my questions. I wrote my own. What was the best part of today? That was Monday. Every meal was purposeful. Started a new challenge for my weigh in at the end of the week, and then a little prayer. And then I didn't fill it out on Tuesday. Didn't fill it out on Wednesday. And today is Thursday. So I'm going to fill these out off camera so I don't bore you guys. But we are at day 139. And I'm going to put day 139. So, like I said, I may be 180. I may have lost those 2 pounds, but water, sodium, the time of day, depending on how much of an laxative you take or what type of bathroom sesh you had, can determine. But I'm going to be honest and just put that I've maintained at 180, 139. So what I've come to discover was kind of like what I knew, but 3 months is the marker, okay? And I have been on keto for 3 months, lost a significant amount of weight, and then it's time for a stall. It's time for things to slow down. I've been doing the same exercises because it was too hot outside. So this week, I started, all right, what I call phase 3. And there's really no reason for me to write it here, but I'm going to. All right, so I started phase 3, which is no heavy red meats. Okay, so that has worked. That's like no steak, no pork chops, no brisket, that type of thing. And then also, I'm going to add, per the advice that was given to me, that I need to make some other changes because I have fallen into a plateau. I need to do a purposeful maintenance phase, which means that starting effective immediately, that here's my options. I can continue with phase 3 as it is, but reduce pork rinds and reduce Atkins, and that's one Atkins bar per day. No more than 4 of the little Atkins peanut butter candies, and reduce zero sugar. The zero sugar stuff is the drinks that have aspartame in it. I need to either stop or reduce it because all of this buildup of artificial sweeteners from Atkins and the drinks is too much. And he believes that it is hindering weight loss, contributing to me being at a plateau, which would happen anyway. But starting now, effective immediately, to add on to phase 3 is to reduce the pork rinds, reduce the Atkins candies, and to reduce the zero sugar. I'm going to try and go cold turkey and for a week and try to not drink any zero sugar stuff. If I feel nauseous, I will drink some. But other than that, it's going to be tea and water all day. Tea and water all day with small amounts of lemon lime drizzled in there for acidity issues so that it won't be none. And that's what I'm going to do. But also, I am going to reduce my zero net carb. So that's another challenge. Reduce my zero net carb tortillas. I don't eat them every day, but sometimes I'll eat 2 a day. Sometimes I might eat 3 a day. And then sometimes, like I said, I won't eat any. I also have noticed that instead of me eating 3 balanced meals a day, I might eat 2 or might eat 1. And that's it because I'm sleeping. I'm fasting, I guess you could say. But if my calorie deficit is not where it's supposed to be, it can cause a problem. So I go back and I look through, and every day I'm not meeting. Every day I'm under my caloric intake, which you would think would be good, right? But an extreme caloric deficit is not going to work for someone who's postmenopausal, like me, and all the other things that I have going on. Like what I could get away with, I can't get away with. Extreme dieting doesn't work. The sweet spot works, which is balance, which is the hardest thing to achieve. So I can accept this new phase 3 by the reduced stuff here. Okay. I can water down my reduced zero sugar stuff. I can I can reduce it. I really can. It's not a big deal. I will only drink it if I feel like I really, really want it. But lately I've been guzzling. Past 3 days I've been guzzling. All right, so we're going to leave that alone. Also, my sodium level. It was concerned that maybe my sodium level would be high because I love to dig into the pork rinds. So reducing that. Like today, I didn't have any pork rinds. So I'm going to work on that. All right, so that is the option that I have, okay, to break this maintenance mode, to challenge my body. And I've also been walking outside because it's been cool. The temperatures are awesome. So I've been hiking up and down my hills walking. You guys remember I've showed you where I go walking at. I've taken you guys with me. There's that hill and such and such. So I've been doing that this week thus far. And my knee is actually holding up pretty well. So I can do that option, or here's the other option, to completely go off keto for 8 weeks. So that way I can go back on keto and shock my body, right? And you know, so that way we can switch up the where my fuel is being burned. We can go to glycogen. Let's just burn glycogen for 8 weeks and then bam, shock the body and then go back into ketosis, and then the weight can drop off really fast again. If I do that, I would be doing low carb. That's what I'd be doing. The whole point is to get out of ketosis and to get into glycogen burning. And I could do that for 8 weeks. But that means that I would, how can I say it? I don't know how I can word this, y'all, but I think it's a wonderful idea. But when you've had a keto mindset for for 3 months, the thought of introducing more carbs is scary. Your mind is not going to want to let you do that. Because then you're going to think, what if I gain weight? Or what if I undo this? And you got all of these things that can happen. I think it's a wonderful idea to just do low carb for 8 weeks. And if I do that, guys, you know what that means? That means that I can have birthday cake. And not feel guilty and not have a paper thin slice. Will it mess with my insulin? Probably not, but it will definitely knock me out of ketosis. But I would be able to enjoy my birthday. So I could follow this routine until September 3rd, and then September 3rd start a new phase of just low carb. And then I could have this cake and I could feel good. I could be okay with it. And I'm just trying to figure out, I don't know what I want to do. I really and truly don't know what I want to do. I think that going 8 weeks, not keto, but just low carb, would be awesome, because then I would, like I said, I would shock my body. But it's like it's mentally a mess, because what is low carb? Okay, low carb means, it doesn't mean that I get to go and eat bread and pasta and french fries, because those are all bad foods no matter what you do. Low carb means no starches or little starches. But for me, if you give me little starches, those little starches are triggers. And I know what's going to happen. Okay, Pamela, you're allowed 5 french fries every day. Just 5. Put them in the air fryer. And you can have 5 every day. I don't want to go back into that. Okay, we'll say you can have half a baked potato every day, or the day that you don't, switch up what kind of starch you're going to have, but allow yourself to have that one starch, something like that, a baked potato or brown rice or oatmeal, those types of starches. But all of them are high in calorie. Oatmeal is high in calorie, and it's like, oh my Lord. Whatever decision I make, there's going to come a consequence. for it. It's going to become something that I am not going to want to deal with. Keto works for me. I really want to stay with keto. But if I am at that point where I need to be in a maintenance mode, I can adjust that and still not be, let's see, instead of having it where my net carbs are 8 to 15 net carbs a day, I could, every other day, I could allow myself to literally have maybe 23 grams of net carbs, right? Alternating or keeping it the same every day, right? And then my body will start to use glycogen, or I might be on the edge of leaving ketosis, whatever. And then 8 weeks later, just bam, cold turkey down to like 10 net carbs. And then that would be a good shock to my body. And that way I am not going to put in anything like oatmeal. I'm not going to put anything in like sugars. I'm not going to put anything in like a potato or allow myself an air fried potato. You know, I don't want to go back to that type of living. So I got a lot to decide. I got a lot to think about what I want to do with this next phase of keto so that I can get the rest of the weight off, but most importantly, make sure that I am reducing my metabolic inflammation. My it was a number 6. I need to get it down to a 2. So I'm like way off, but I need to keep moving in the right direction. And so we'll find out. We'll see. That's the most important thing, is feeling better and living better more than how I look in a pair of jeans. And that's the mindset that I got to keep. And that's where I'm at with this. And let's see, did anything go wrong today? Well, you know what? Nothing went wrong today, but everything went wrong today. Because today I found out that I needed to make these choices. I needed to make these changes. And the easier change for me is this, to just reduce this crap and keep going. And give myself, a few weeks, don't get on the scale, look at other things and do this, but then my birthday is coming and I want that friggin' cake, so I need to make a decision. Y'all, I'm not kidding you. I really do believe that it would be a fantastic idea for me to literally just go off keto and do low carb for 8 weeks and then come back after the 8 weeks is over and then bam, strict keto. I think that would be phenomenal to do. But maybe I don't have to do all that. Maybe if I just follow this right here, maybe that will be enough, plus the walking outside. And I think, y'all, I'm thinking that this is probably my best bet, option A, as opposed to option B. If you don't mind, if you have your phone or device on you, let me know in the comments if you think that I should take option A or take option B. Do you think me taking option B would knock me off? Would it mess with my mindset? Would it mess with the way I've been living? Do you think that it would hinder progress? What you would think. Just say option A or B, and I would greatly appreciate it. I am seriously going to pray about it, but I feel like I'm leaning more towards making these changes, but I think I would get maybe a better impact. The impact would be better if I did this, because I go off keto and I just do low carb for 8 weeks. And then my body starts burning glycogen instead of fat. All right. And then I'm just maintenance mode. And then all of a sudden shock that body and jump right into keto. I really want to do that. But I just feel like my mind is like, Okay, Pam, you had 5 French fries. I know, but can I have more? I'm just afraid that old mindset will come back in, you know? Then again, I may just be stronger than I thought I am, than I think I am. Maybe I can do the low carb and and you know, and do it that way. Maybe I could. But either way, whatever decision I make, it will start after my birthday or on my birthday. If I take this option, I can have my friggin' cake. I don't have to have a paper thin slice, you know? Um, so I don't know. I don't know. But if you have an idea, let me know. I appreciate it. So as far as I know, I may be literally 180. But I'm gonna just say, well, I'm just gonna stay with 182. I see the inches and pounds are two different things. So I could literally be 180. I hope so, because that would mean that I lost 2 pounds since day 110 and day 139. But to look at this and say, wow, that looks like a stall to me. Look at the difference in the days. And you should definitely be 180, if not less than that. But that's what happens when you go. It's always 3 months. Every diet, every lifestyle change that I've ever made, it's always after 3 months I stall. I don't care. The only time that didn't happen was on Manjaro. Manjaro, I stalled in my 6th month, I think it was. you know Man, I wish I could get on Manjaro right now. Good gosh, I do. Oh my Lord, I would pay somebody. I really would. I would take that stuff like nobody's business. Okay, so anyway, let me say this one final thing and I'm going to let y'all go. By the grace, love, and mercy of God, if I never lose another pound, but I get healthier and I get stronger and I get wiser, it will still be worth it. Because I'm not going to go back and eat my own vomit. I've vomited up that way of living and I'm not going to go back to it. And if I never lose another pound, if I stay right where I'm at till the day I take my last breath, but I'm stronger, I'm wiser, I'm healthier, my blood work is better. I overall see an improvement. Why would I want to, you know what I mean? So I would be grateful. That would still be enough to stay at the same weight. Where am I going? I don't go anywhere. You know what I mean? If I was just 110 pounds, I'm still not going out in the sun. I'm not going to go and wear some bikini. I'm 57 years old. Where the heck am I going in a bikini? You know, that's just not me. I'm still going to be the same person, you know, and, so really, if I were young, looking for a man, and I was, going out places and doing this and doing that, then yeah. But at my age where I'm at, the things I'm interested in, the things that I do and don't do, you know what I mean? I can live a good life right here. But honestly, I don't want to stay here. I need the number to come down. If it doesn't go down to 130, that's fine. I'll take 140. I'll take 150, but it needs to come down. Straight up. It needs to come down. So that's it, y'all. I will see you, God willing, in the next video. That's my keto update. Thank you for being here, and let me know in the comments option A or option B. And I'll see you later. Bye.